Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So we've been discussing the Teuhid of encompassment. And here, with this Teuhid, what we see is that we are always in the presence of Allah. Creation, moment to moment, is in the presence of Allah. It's like the mental picture of the apple is in the presence of the mind. And in the same way that the mind is existentially present in the mental picture of the apple, Allah is existentially present in all creation. Huwa ma'akum aynama kuntum. So when we sit, stand, work, play, eat, and so on and so forth, all our bones, all our breaths, and so on and so forth, they are working in Allah's presence. This is important. And Allah is present in all these actions of ours. And if we become aware that Allah is existentially present within us and we are in the presence of Allah, if we see this reality, this in the Quran is called experiencing the divine color of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We acquire Allah's color, so to speak. Sibghat Allah, wa man ahsanu min Allah sibghatan, wa nahnu lahu abidun. In chapter 2, this verse, which is paraphrased as our life takes its color from Allah. Although it starts with Allah's color, but it's used in the accusative sense, meaning that the subject or the agent is deleted, so to speak. It's a manner of speech. It's a manner of the way it's phrased. Sometimes you say thank you, it means I thank you, but there's no need to mention I, for example. Anyway, here, Sibghat Allah, the color of Allah, meaning that our life takes its color from Allah. That's the objective. And who's better than Allah? Coloring, color-wise. So here, this presence of Allah we want to see. If we see it, we are colored by Allah, a divine coloring, and we are worshippers of Him. So now the question arises as to why don't we see or experience or become aware of this presence? If we are moment to moment in the presence of Allah, and Allah is existentially present in us, our actions and so on and so forth, why don't we see it? Why are we not aware of this? Here there are many very simple answers to this question, and well, naturally our perception is limited. We can only perceive so much, and perceiving the presence of Allah is not an easy task, especially when you're drowned in the realm of materialism. And sometimes because of the preoccupations in this worldly life, and we've become used to so many things. So many things have become habit without us even noticing them over a period of time. And then there are so many preoccupations in this life. This all has made us oblivious to Allah's presence. We've become oblivious to it. And sometimes, for example, when you're a child, for example, you want to eat something, at that time your soul is very weak, and if someone distracts you, you can't put the spoon in your mouth, for example, and then you spill the food. And then when you grow older, you can consume normally and listen at the same time. You can do many things at the same time. But let's say sometimes you may get preoccupied with seeing something or doing something that when someone calls you, you can't, you're oblivious to that. These examples I'm giving, just to say that we're limited, or sometimes certain things in a room have become so habituated and habit for you, you become oblivious to them. And sometimes you may lose something in the simplest of places, but you were so oblivious to that place, you didn't even look there. These kind of things. Our perceptions are limited because of things we've become used to, or the preoccupations that we have. Someone watching television and they're being called, they don't, for example, turn around, or certain smells and aromas we've become used to that only when they're not there we realize their absence, and so on and so forth. You can think of better examples. Sometimes we see that external preoccupations, they act as a hindrance to us becoming aware of our inner experiences. I'll just give a simple example just to highlight what I mean. Sometimes, for example, someone is experiencing, after an accident, they experience pain in their legs. Pain is an inner experience. Then this patient in hospital, during the day, they receive so many, friends, family, and so many other distractions outside of them, like people visiting them, that they become oblivious to the pain which is within them. But at night, when there are no distractions anymore, the pain which is within them, they become much more attentive to it, and they suffer the pain again. Pain here is an example of something which is to be sensed and experienced within, but because of those external distractions, you become oblivious to it. Look, this reality of being presence before that presence before Allah is something within. We have to see it with the eyes of our heart. But the external distractions act as a hindrance, and other examples that one can give. And sometimes, very simply, the instruments to which we perceive may be affected, like our memory, or sometimes the food that we consume can have an effect, or illness. All these can have an effect on our perceptions. Now, we want to witness something important, the presence before Allah. In order to do that, we have to witness something else, and that is that we are nothing. The fact that we are nothing, and we've discussed that in previous sessions, and everything is Allah's, all attributes are His. When we are nothing, this we are nothing is an important precursor to witnessing Allah's presence. Because once it's heartily established that we are nothing, the link to everything is Him becomes easy. Okay, now let's discuss this in a bit more detail. Sometimes we unfortunately see ourselves as independent, and all the perfections that we manifest, we attribute it to ourselves. And that's why sometimes we compare ourselves to others and say, I am better than him, or they are better than them, and so on and so forth. So if I pass an exam, I say, I achieved this. My knowledge is a lot. Or in front of the mirror, I say, I am beautiful. Look, beauty you're attributing to yourself. If you're first in a race, you say, I am strong. If you've received inheritance, you say, I am wealthy. All these things you are attributing to yourself. These are attributes of perfection. You're attributing to yourself, where in reality, you are nothing. All attributes are His, are Allah's. You are nothing. It's like the mirror example, that the mirror saying, that I am reflecting the light. The mirror is oblivious to the fact that it's the sun which is the source of light. We are oblivious to the fact that when you say, I am wealthy, I have knowledge, I did this, I did that, it's all His. He did it. All attributes are His. Nothing should be attributed to you. And continue with the mirror example. Let's say the mirror says, I am reflecting light. Now when it becomes night, the mirror realizes that all along it was the sun which was reflecting light. But they've realized it at night. Me and you at death will realize that all those attributes in our lifetime that we attributed to ourselves, it was all Allah's. But it's too late now, you're dead. With the mirrors, it's too late, it's night now. The test is to realize and witness this truth, this divine color. We want to realize it in this world before passing away and dying. And then it's inevitable, we will all realize that all along it was Him. All attributes was Him. We were just a safekeeper. Look, if we truly understand this reality, that I was just a safekeeper, nothing was mine. A deposit was given to me. Allah manifested through me. This was a deposit. I was just a safekeeper. And then it's all going to be taken away from me. In this world, temporarily, something was given to me. And it's going to be taken away. But we were blessed, and we are blessed, to have been given this opportunity for Allah to manifest through us. And during this time, we have to make the most of it. But how? How do we make the most of it? By realizing wholeheartedly, not academically, that we are nothing and it's all Him in play. This realization is something important for our perfection. But realizing you are nothing is important, and it's all Him. And He is manifesting, we are in His presence, He is existentially present within us, every molecule of us, every atom of us. He is present within us. And we are in His presence. This has to be accepted by the heart. But how? We're so oblivious to this reality because of these preoccupations which don't allow us to see this reality. Now, usually when one encounters a severe burden and one realizes all these avenues of help are blocked, all this, I am this, I am that, I have this, is of no use now. And you're drowned in a severe burden. All avenues are, lost or closed. Here, all those false attributings you did to yourself, where you attributed attributes of perfection to yourself, all these, in the midst of these severe burdens, all these will become eliminated. And then, once they are eliminated, you will witness within yourself and perceive wholeheartedly that I am nothing, I was nothing, and I am nothing now. Because of that, what the severe burdens have done to you. And then you realize all along that you were just reflecting another's power, another's beauty, another entity's knowledge, and so on and so forth. And you realize that you're wholly dependent on this other entity. Here, during that severe burden, when you lose all those pseudo-attributings that you did, the heart will perceive that other reality. To some degree, they will witness this new reality. That's the color of Allah, Sibghat Allah. And here, this is something important. Yes, after the burden goes away, unfortunately, most people become oblivious again. But the true intellect will make the most of it. will make sure that that experience isn't lost as easily as before. And so here one has to try and lessen those distractions. So after seeing that reality or perceiving that reality to whatever degree, they have to make sure that those preoccupations and because they've witnessed something within, that which makes them forget that reality the heart witnessed during the time of burden, the worldly distractions unfortunately come and then one forgets again. So the protocol in maintaining and prolonging that inner experience of Him to whatever degree you've perceived it, the key is to detach from all those distractions. And here the tools of muraqabah in spiritual wayfaring is essential. It's like the leg pain example, where the leg pain at night, you're aware of it because there are no distractions. During the day, when the guests come, you forget the pain. You become oblivious to the pain. Here too, with muraqabah, which is a very important spiritual tool, you can now, you can maximize this this blocking of distractions outside you, which act as a hindrance in your continuous remembrance of that reality which you've perceived during the severe burden. But even if there were no burdens, muraqabah, as a result of blocking all distractions, helps you to witness that inner reality too, that presence of Allah, the color of Allah. And in the Sharia, when it says don't eat excessively, don't sleep excessively, all these are all distractions. Look, all these protocols in the Sharia want to connect you to yourself, for you to see you're nothing and you're in the presence of everything. Not having bad friends, for example, doing futile things, speaking futilely. Look, even some scholars have compared futile talk to, one shouldn't really open this up, but talk which is void, yes, talk which is void, they have compared to consuming haram. Yes. Although it's not an area I want to open up now, but talking voidly is on a par with consuming haram. And scholars have talked about this, but in time, inshallah. Having bad friends. Look, all these are distractions. However, if you were to recall Allah's attributes in seclusion, alone, at night, with no distractions, uttering your nothingness before Him, with the tool of muraqabah, in certain manners and forms, in spiritual wayfaring mentioned, all of it over time, you keep on deleting the distractions. Deleting the distractions, you realize it's all Him. You're nothing. And your reality is your nothingness. And then that witnessing of the fact that it's all Him, this is something which once witnessed, you'll never forget, and your aql, your intellect, would say to you, well, do your best to prolong it, to keep it, not to forget it. And this makes you even more industrious in this field, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'll end here.